Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Anonymous, and in this channel we talk about gang stalking, we talk about its tactics, its purpose, and what I'm doing in order to deal with it. So this video I promised to one of my viewers, and I haven't done it. I've been talking about the auditory hallucinations, but right now I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna fulfill the promise that I made to one of my viewers. So thank you for your patience. And well, this one is pretty much about how to keep your job while you're getting gang stalked. So your job is going to be one of the things that gang stalkers are gonna want you to get rid of. And they do it in a lot of things, a lot of ways. So one of the things that I've noticed, or that I have encountered, is to turn my perception of my job into me becoming, or me seeing my job as if they were abusing me, when in reality it is just the normal business. Just how do I explain this? The regular business goings, they want you to interpret as being a nightmare. For example, they have pretty much, in the first time that they did the conditioning, they were able to successfully make me believe that anything that I couldn't find, like any auto part that I couldn't find, I interpreted as them hiding it from me. And one thing they can do is that I honestly doubt that they ever did that once. But when you're getting gang stalked, something happens in your perceptions that you just start believing that they actually, somehow conspired, to have a customer look for a part. And then what happened was that I couldn't find it. And then when I found it, the gang stalkers would say, "Oh, damn it," damn me for finding the part, But remember what we talked about perception is that if a particular perception is pushed hard enough on you, sooner or later your mind will start accepting the perception as reality, as truth. And that is exactly what happened. It happened that I was so sure that that my coworkers were hiding the parts, that they were making it tougher, for me to do my job by switching the parts from one place to another, just to make me struggle to find it. And the second time around that they did the conditioning, I honestly don't even think that they did that one time. Even though there were instances where I was so sure that they did it, but I know better than I know what gang stalking does. I know the perception that they were trying to push. And the one thing that I should tell you is that they were successful the first time in making me perceive my job as if they were like making me do slave work, and they do that by pretty much by making you do everything, even though that's my job. They're gonna play it off at work as if they're making you do all the work. And that's exactly how it feels. But listen, when you're at a job, you're expected to do work. You're getting paid in hours of work. And the first time they were able, to turn my perception into me doing all the work. Like even my boss, she would go and hide in the back when the store was busy, But I learned, with experience, to not feel pressure, even when the store is busy, and even when I'm the only one in the front. I will do my job to the best of my ability. And if there is someone, and if there's like a coworker in the front, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna be like, oh hey, the store is busy, can you help me out? Do not, my job is pretty much just my job, and I will do it to the best I can. And even when I see no one else working, I have to be doing my job, because that way they cannot say that I'm not doing my job, that I'm not working. You know what I mean? So like, the first time that they were trying to turn my perception of my job into something negative, you know, I have to be honest with you, they were successful at doing so. But when I realized that, you know, if I stay focused on doing my job, my focus will not go to what the gang stalkers are doing, to what my coworkers are doing, to what my coworkers are saying. I will not care. And they will try to paint it as you doing your job is being a slave, or being, you know, doing what they want you to do. They want you to perceive you doing your job as something negative. Because if you perceive your job as something negative, you're gonna be unhappy doing it, even when it is completely normal for you to do your job. It's in fact what you're supposed to be doing. And you know, I have just come to the realization, you know, that most of my coworkers don't do shit. They're lazy, you know. And I have never been a lazy worker. Not ever in my entire life. I like to work, you know, because I feel useful. And that's the thing, is that your coworkers are going to try to manipulate you into feeling that doing your job is something negative. And they do that by them not doing anything themselves, and then you just doing the work. But you know, you're getting paid by the hour. Just the more, this is what I come to realize, is that I'm sorry if I'm stumbling over my own words in this video, but I have been asleep most of the day. I have been resting my mind, because I need to rest my mind. I have so much to talk to you about that has gone down during these past couple of days. Like a lot of new observations, a lot of questions, but more than anything, a very good, I have a good, pretty much, grasp on how to pretty much, I guess, be the best you can possibly be when you're going through this. So I'm drinking a C4 because I want to wake up, even though it's like 4 in the afternoon. That is because I have been sleeping. My mind is exhausting. Is exhausted. I have been eating like a lot, and I have been sleeping most of the day. Well, anyways, the way that it's incredibly difficult to keep your job while you're getting gang stalked, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is, because you're gonna have every perception of what normality is twisted in a way that you perceive it as something that is negative. So another example is where you pretty much are gonna be it's like you're living a nightmare. Like, for example, in the previous videos where I told you about the tactic that gang stalkers use about whispering, you know, things like faggot, you know. So I realized today that they only do it for a little bit, but then if you have the suspicion of someone whispering it, your mind is gonna create the whisper, and it's gonna create the whisper coming from that direction where whom you have the suspicion of. It's insane. So this is why a lot of things that you record, like a lot of targeted individuals that are trying to record things that are happening to them, when they see them after they are recorded, show nothing out of place. And this is why. It's because you have to get it when the conditioning is happening. Because the conditioning happens, and then after the conditioning is done, everything else is your perception. You know, I don't plan on doing any drugs for I don't know how many years. For as long as it takes. Possibly never, to be honest with you. Because this time around, I was truly scared of actually staying like connected forever. I was truly frightened for my psychological well-being. I felt that like I was gonna, whenever there was, someone said a word that would sound like that I would interpret it like that for the rest of my life. It's insane. And this whole gang stalking thing, they get you from all angles. For example, I am being deprived of sex. I truly am. And when and this is the thing. When they're depriving you of sex, you're gonna go online or try to find someone. And whenever you try to find someone, they're gonna be there, pushing drugs. And then if they're pushing drugs, it's gonna, eventually get to you. And it's gonna get to you, you're gonna go use drugs. And then once you're using, gang stalkers are gonna do their best to keep you using drugs for as long as possible. To fuck you up. Psychologically, to try to keep you there as long as possible until you completely lose your mind permanently. Lose your mind, lose your job, lose everything, stay homeless, stay destitute forever. That's the goal. To destroy you, every single aspect of you, to such a degree that you cannot come back from it. That's it. And that's the truth. The last time I went online, I discovered, someone told me, like, someone was talking all this shit about someone, and I went on, what's happened? I typed in, what's going on? And he said, well, your farce has been uncovered, and I didn't realize that there were people talking shit about me to the entire fucking website for all that time. It was insane. They were literally talking shit about me for the entire time. So like every time I go online, there's gonna be a bunch of people, try to do as much as possible to not allow me to, hook up with anyone. And be it as it may, that's how it is. That's gang stalking. If you're online, they're gonna try to destroy your reputation wherever it is that you are. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I would go on here and then all of a sudden, I'm getting this channel trying to be destroyed. But I mean, it is what it is. And regardless of how hard they're gonna try to destroy me, I'm gonna keep making these videos because they in itself is gonna illustrate. Excuse me. It's gonna illustrate the reality of gang stalking. So I am kind of in the hopes, that they do find it. That they do, demonstrate the reality of it. And, it's gonna happen. And I'm not scared for it. But anyways. Coming back to the main topic. Gang stalkers are gonna try you to turn your perception around of what being a hard worker is, so that you will pretty much have negative emotions towards working. That way you're gonna work less, and then people are gonna be complaining about you. They're gonna do the tricks where they're gonna have you perceive words as trying to be pointed at you, so that whenever so that you respond and react to these words. That way you're angry, and sooner or later you're gonna come to blow up, and you're gonna pretty much go nuts on a customer because you thought a customer called you a faggot, because you thought a customer called you a whore. That way, even though he said a core, you're gonna interpret it as him calling you a whore. And that way you are gonna, there's gonna be witnesses, that you for no apparent reason went crazy. But guess what? Everyone is in on it, and everyone is gonna be, yeah, well, he went crazy, and the customer said core, and you're saying that he called you a whore, but we all heard it. He said core. He didn't say whore. You're the one that proceeded that way. So, yeah, and that's eventually what it is. So also, I'm gonna let you know that during the conditioning, my coworkers were purposely not doing anything. They weren't saying high five to the customers, and I called my coworker out on it. And my gang stalkers do this thing where they do like a flash of a gang stalker face, or where they do a mocking face where they laugh. That is to make you angrier. And and my boss, she, even though my coworkers weren't doing their job, and I was trying to keep them online, I also got I got a write-up, because I lost it for a second, and I was like, well, why are you not saying hi to the customers when they walk in? Since the beginning of my shift, I was the only one that has been saying hi. And apparently, well, what I'm supposed to do is go to the back, which I understand. That's fine. But they have never behaved in that manner, and I wrote all of that down on the sheet of paper where I got the write-up written. And well, my boss did the gang stalking face, the face where that is supposed to activate your mentality of she's against me, and with the hopes of me going nuts, and and accusing her of being a gang stalker or being against me. But I'm smarter than that, I know what the game is. So that's eventually what they want. They want me to lose my job. So, which means that, well, when that happened, I literally said, I am gonna do my job to the best of my ability in every single way, shape, and form, so that there is absolutely nothing they can hold against me. And that's exactly what you have to do if you're getting gang stalked. Is that if you're getting gang stalked, regardless of what's happening around you, regardless of what your coworkers are doing, regardless of what anyone says or does, what you have to do to keep your job is perform your job to the best of your ability, to the best that you possibly can in every single way, shape, and form, because you do not want to give anyone a single reason to have a single complaint about you. That's the truth. That's the truth. Is that their gang stalkers are going to want you to put attention to them instead of your job, instead of your duties, instead of what you have to do as an employee. And in order for you to be able to keep your job, what you have to do is perform your job to the best of your ability in every single way, shape, and form, and completely ignore the tactics, the games, the insults that anyone can possibly be saying. So especially if you're having auditory hallucinations, you cannot blame anyone for saying anything. You can't. Because listen, if you go to your boss, look, unless you see their lips moving, and unless you see their lips moving, and you can clearly hear what they're saying, only then you have the grounds to actually have a complaint about them. You have to see, you have to hear them. That's it. But if you heard them and you didn't see them, now you can't. You know what I mean? And if it's double speak, you can't. It has to be a directly said insult towards you. Listen, if you're upset, it's normal to be upset. You can play the same game if you want. I personally, I'm at a point where I do not care about what these people do, because they mean nothing to me. They're just coworkers. Now, I'm at work and I just go there, I do my job, and completely ignore everything and everyone other than my duties, because that's what I am there to do, to work and to make money, and then to get the fuck out of there as soon as possible so I can keep making these videos. And that's exactly what you should be doing if you're getting gang stalked. If you still have a job, your duties are not trying to fit in with anyone. Your duties are going to work, do your job, and leave. And that is the only thing that should be of your concern. Nothing else matters, because if you take the attention away from your job and you start paying attention to what your coworkers are saying, to what your coworkers might be thinking, to what your coworkers are gossiping or whatever, then you are playing into the game. And you shouldn't play into the game. You're playing into the game. You're playing into the game, and you're paying attention to what they are doing to fuck you up. And you shouldn't. What you should be paying attention to is to you doing your job and doing everything possible for no one to have a single complaint about it. As hard as that can possibly be. If someone is not doing their job, do not make a scene of it. Take him to the back. I learned this the hard way. You have to take him to the back, be like, hey, you're not doing your job. I'm feeling a lot of pressure. Come. And this is true. When I was applying at Delta Airlines, this was in the training. I totally forgot about that, actually. You have to go to the back and then be like, hey, you're not picking up your slack. Can you please get your shit together? Get yourself together. Don't make a show out of it, regardless of how upset you might be. Because, in the end, it is a business, and you have to really keep appearances. Gang stalking is that. It's pretty much a game where you're being tortured, you're being, pretty much made a living hell while appearances are maintained, which in itself is an art, for real. It's an art. It takes so much creativity to do such a thing, don't you think? Well, anyways, that's the crux of the video, of the message, is that if you're getting gang stalked, your main priority is pretty much stay away from any people who participate in gang stalking. Stay away from them. Your duty is to be the best employee that you can possibly be, regardless of what's happening around you. Don't pay attention to anyone. They're gonna try to make your perception of your job. They're gonna try to make you feel like you're losing if you're doing your job. They're gonna try to make you feel that you're becoming a slave if you're doing your job. But no, you just do your job, regardless of what anyone else is doing or not doing. You have to do your job, because if you don't, you're gonna lose it. And that is the one thing that you should not lose is a job or a mission, something to do, something that will keep you driven. Something that will keep you out of using drugs, something that will keep your head straight, something that will keep you busy. So again, sorry if this video started off like with me rambling. I have a lot to talk to you about. I changed where I sleep because there were a lot of people swaying my car. Like I now I'm sleeping, like a block away, but it's not a trolley station, and there is no swaying. So there was actually people swaying my car, and I was like last night I was connected, and I felt like the sensations. So there has been a confusion when I talk about direct energy weapons and sensations. When I say direct energy weapons, I mean that it is the sensations that are produced by the gang stalking stress. I do not mean that there is actual direct energy weapons, so I will stop calling them like that. I will just call them the gang stalking sensations, because that's what makes sense. That's easy to understand. That doesn't confuse anyone. So we're just gonna keep it like that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.